don't want to have this conflict. I don't want to be in the spotlight, and I certainly don't want to be a whipping post. I am no hero. I'm just a person that's been transformed by the grace of God and who wants to work, be with my family. I just want to serve my neighbors quietly without violating my conscience.
Well, that was a defiant Kim Davis, the small-town county clerk in Kentucky, returning to her job today with a message for her critics after being arrested for refusing to issue marriage licenses to same-sex couples. Ms. Davis is now declaring that she will not sign off on any of those licenses going forward, but she will allow her deputies to issue licenses that she claims are, quote, unauthorized. Joining me now, Republican presidential candidate and former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee. He today argued that the Davis case shows, quote, how our Constitution is being shredded, and believes that this very case embodies an assault, a criminalization, you called it, of Christianity. And yet the other side says the law is the law, and you're on the wrong side of it. Even our last guest, Governor Chris Christie, thinks that.
You know, I understand a lot of people disagree, but if this decision had gone the other way and the Supreme Court had voted 5-4, the narrowest of margins, very divided, that marriage was exactly what Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton said it was less than 4 years ago, a man and a woman, I'm going to ask you something. Do you think that the left and all the advocates for same-sex marriage would have said, well, hey, that's it. That's the law of the land. We're just going to let it go, and we'll never bring it up again?
They'd have to push for change through the legal process, as they've been doing for the better part of the last decade.
What about the legislative process? Isn't that how political change is supposed to happen? We do it legislatively? That's how it's supposed to happen,
There is an
Megyn.
argument there, but what happened instead was it went up through the courts. Here's my question for you. Now this is becoming a campaign issue, and the candidates, the GOP candidates, do not see eye to eye on the issue. If you were to win, if you were to become president, Huckabee, how would you protect people like Kim Davis?
Well, first of all, I would make sure that we recognize that the law and the Constitution is explicit on the First Amendment guarantee of religious liberty. There is nothing in the Constitution whatsoever that gives the federal government jurisdiction over marriage. And that was one of the points that the dissenting justices made. The majority had to come up with this whole idea of the federal oversight of marriage out of thin air. There's nothing in the law, nothing in the Constitution. We've got a federal government that's out of control. I think a lot of people are beginning to wake up to the fact that what was created, this magnificent form of government with separation of powers and equality of branches and checks and balances, has gone amok. And now we've got not just the federal government, but one branch of it just trampling over people.
Well, there's no question that people are dissatisfied with government. Very dissatisfied with government. But I want to ask you about this. You are going to go on that debate stage in 48 hours. And what is your strategy, Governor? Are you going to talk about this? Because one of the things that people find surprising is that you are not leading in this election with evangelicals this time around. Evangelicals who brought you over the top in Iowa years ago, who have loved you, who have supported you. Trump is leading with them in nationwide, and Carson's leading with them in Iowa.
Well, look, I think we're all somewhat, baffled by the way that this is going so far. But I look at it this way. The evangelicals right now are all over the map, and a lot of them are going with Trump. But this is the dating season, not the marrying season. That comes in February when the caucuses come. And I'm confident that over the course of the campaign... It's
not your turn, Judge. Sorry, keep going, Governor.
I just think we're going to see a lot of changes. We always do. Everybody gets all excited about this. It's the middle of September, for gosh sake.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of ground to be covered, a lot of debates to be held. I don't think most of us who have ever been in politics very long get that worried about the polls at this stage of the game. Now, if we're looking at these kind of numbers in January, Megyn, then come talk to me, because we got some problems.
All right, I will do it. You raise a good point. I was married in March. It's not a bad point. Governor, it's great to see you, as always.